Good morning. My name is Donna Marie Collins. I'm the hearing examiner that will be presiding over this morning's hearing. The case is REZ 2023-00037. It's an application to rezone property to a conventional zoning district, namely the CN3 district. The hearing examiner has final decision-making authority on conventional rezoning applications. Therefore, at the conclusion of this hearing, I will be rendering a decision, probably within the week, approving or denying the request. All testimony and evidence I accept during these hearings must be taken in under oath, so I ask that you please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony and evidence you enter into the record this morning will be the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. I'm ready to begin.
Good morning, Madam Hearing Examiner. I'm Veronica Martin with TDM Consulting, representing the applicant Luxar Properties, LLC. I have been accepted as an expert witness in the Land Development Code and the LEED Plan, and I ask to be accepted again as such today.
Yes, please continue.
Okay. I do have one exhibit I would like to enter into the record, and it's a copy of today's PowerPoint presentation.
All right, thank you. That'll be applicant Exhibit 1. Thank you.
The property owner and applicant did say he was going to be here today, but he may be having trouble finding parking like I did this morning, so he may be attending
Okay,
as well.
that's fine.
Again, the request before you today is a conventional rezoning of the 0.34 acre lot from residential single family to neighborhood commercial CN3. The applicant does intend to develop the lot for a real estate sales office. The Land Development Code states that the CN3 zoning district is especially suited to those portions of the Lehigh Acres area that meet the criteria found in LEED Plan Policy 25.6.2. The site is located at 448 Conley Street at the intersection of Jaguar Boulevard and Conley. State Road 82 is located along the west property line. The property is located in the Lehigh Acres planning community, and the lots in this area of Lehigh Acres east of State Road 82 are in the Mirror Lakes subdivision. The lot has a future land use classification of urban community as shown in the orange color, and all of the lots surrounding the subject property are also in the urban community future land use. It's described as a mixture of relatively intense commercial and residential land uses. The uses that are permitted in the CN3 zoning district are compatible with the goals of the urban community future land use category, making this request compatible with the surrounding residential and commercial properties. The lot is currently zoned residential single family RS1. North of the site along State Road 82 are lots with RM2 zoning. Some of the lots are vacant while others are developed with single family homes. The lots to the northeast, east, and south are zoned RS1. This area is sparsely developed at this time. Most of the lots are vacant with a few single family homes scattered throughout. Further south along State Road 82, the lots are zoned C2 for commercial development, but they're vacant at this time. The properties on the west side of State Road 82 are zoned C1 and TFC2. I wanted to go over the CN3 zoning district as defined in Land Development Code section 34-841. It states that the purpose and intent of the CN3 district is to permit the designation of suitable intersection locations for a broad range of small-scale retail, office, and personal service facilities adjacent to and within future residential neighborhoods without the need to obtain CPD zoning. This district is especially suited to those portions of Lehigh Acres that do meet the criteria found in LEAP Plan Policy 25.6.2, which I will go over when we go through the LEAP Plan criteria. In order to protect the residential character of adjoining neighborhoods, certain potentially incompatible uses such as convenience stores and fuel pumps are prohibited in the CN3 zoning district. In addition, the hours of operation for permitted uses in the CN3 district are restricted to minimize nighttime operations. And I apologize that I don't have the text outside of the box there.
That's all right, I'm not reading it anyway.
Okay.
I'm listening.
Public services are adequate for this development. The surrounding roadways include State Road 82, a state-maintained arterial, and then both Jaguar Boulevard and Connolly Street are county-maintained minor collector roads. Fire and EMS is provided by the Lehigh Acres Fire Department, Station 105. Police protection is provided by Lee County Sheriff's Office, located on Homestead Road. The lot is within Lee County School District East Zone, District 5. Solid waste is provided by Waste Pro, and the site is located south of the Lehigh Acres Community Park. I apologize, that's really bright on this screen. The urban community future land use category is described as a mixture of relatively intense commercial and residential uses. And again, the uses permitted in the CN3 zoning district are appropriate in an area that does encourage both residential and commercial uses, which is compatible with the urban community future land use category. That's consistent with policy 1.1.4. It's also consistent with objectives 2.1, development location, and 2.2, development timing, which promotes compact and contiguous growth patterns to contain urban sprawl and direct new growth to areas within the designated future urban areas where adequate public facilities exist. Standards 4.1.1 and 4.1.2, sewer and water. FGUA did provide a letter of availability stating that the nearest potable water main and sanitary sewer infrastructure is located on Blackstone Drive, which is approximately 1.75 miles to the west along State Road 82. The proposed development will not exceed the thresholds for mandatory connection, which is either 30,000 square feet of gross leasable floor area or exceeding 5,000 gallons per day of effluent. So the future development will utilize well and septic at this location.
Is there a pending development order or building permit for this structure?
Not yet. We're waiting on to see if there's approval of the rezoning.
Sometimes they will go concurrently.
He wanted to wait.
That's fine. I was just wondering if we had a site plan, that's all.
Policy 5.1.5 of the LEAD plan is intended to protect the residential areas from any encroachment of uses that are potentially destructive to the character and integrity of the residential environment. This property does abut a residential neighborhood to the east and northeast with RM2 zoning along State Road 82. The urban community future land use does permit commercial and residential uses, and the uses permitted in the CN3 zoning district are intended to be located adjacent to and within these residential zoning districts. In addition, the hours of operation for businesses in the CN3 zoning district are limited to 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. So we believe this is consistent with policy 5.1.5. Goal 6 of the LEAD plan establishes commercial land uses, the objectives and policies to facilitate orderly and well-planned commercial development at appropriate locations within the county. Again, the subject property is within the Mirror Lake subdivision and is surrounded by residential and commercial zoning districts. Urban services such as fire and EMS, police protection, public parks and schools, solid waste, and adequate roadways are available and adequate to serve the development. LEAD Plan Policy 25.6.2 does recognize the lack of commercial land in the Lehigh Acres planning community and allows rezoning to the CN3 zoning district, which was created to address this shortfall. A public information meeting was held on December 4th, 2023 at the Lehigh Acres Architectural Planning and Zoning Review Board monthly meeting, and they did vote, even though they don't have to, but they supported the rezoning at this location. Goal 25 sets forth the goals, objectives, and policies of the Lehigh Acres planning community. Their goal was to ensure that continued development and redevelopment converts the largely single-use pre-platted area into a vibrant residential and commercial community. The urban future land use does encourage this mixture of intense commercial and residential uses. Policy 25.6.2 again addresses the shortage of commercial uses by considering rezoning of lots that are outside of the commercial overlay zones through the CPD process or by rezoning to the CN3 zoning district, which again was created specifically to address the Lehigh Acres conditions. Goals 60 and 61 address stormwater management. The site is not located in a flowway, nor does it contain wetlands. The applicant will be required to provide full site construction plans at time of DO permitting, and these plans will be consistent with the Land Development Code, the LEAD plan, and utilize best management practices for surface water management. We do believe the applicant has demonstrated compliance with the criteria for approval. It does comply with the LEAD plan. It does meet the Land Development Code and the other applicable county regulations. It is compatible with the existing and planned uses in the surrounding area, provides sufficient access to support the proposed development. At this point, I do want to say that the access is proposed from Conley Street. The expected impacts on transportation facilities will be addressed by existing county regulations and conditions of approval. It will not adversely affect environmentally critical or sensitive areas and natural resources, and it will be served by urban services with the exception of potable water and sanitary sewer. That does end my presentation, and I can answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. I don't have any questions.
Okay.
I'm ready for Mary Sue. You know, it's hard to read the white text on the background. Maybe go to a black text or
it looked great on the computer.
Yeah.
It did look really good on the computer.
Yeah. Maybe with all the white around it, it just washed it out or something, right?
Yeah. I have, a template that I use for all my presentations. It just makes it go so much quicker. But I hate to be so boring to use the same slides over and over again.
Sure,
so I thought,
right.
Oh, I'll do something a little more.
Change it up with color.
Yeah.
I like it.
Good morning, Madam Hearing Examiner. For the record, I am Mary Sugaroth, a senior planner with the Department of Community Development Zoning Section. I've been previously qualified as an expert witness in land use planning, the Lee County Land Development Code and Comprehensive Plan, and would like to ask to do so again today.
Yes, please proceed.
Thank you. I have a copy of my PowerPoint presentation for exhibit, and also this hearing has been advertised in the Fort Myers News Press on May 2nd.
Thank you. I'll take the affidavit if you have it.
Great, I do. I have that and the public notice if I can approach.
Nice. These little strips, they don't leave much room for writing. They're like right up against the, okay, I digress.
I'll start with the applicant's request and recommendation from staff. TDM Consulting has requested a rezone on behalf of the owner of approximately a 0.34 acre subject property from RS1 to conventional neighborhood commercial CN3, with the intention of developing the property as a real estate office to expand their existing small office in Lehigh Acres. Some background on the property. The subject property is located at 448 Conley Street in Lehigh at the intersection of Conley Street and Jaguar Boulevard. And the back of the property abuts State Road 82 and consists of one strap number and resides within the urban community future land use category, is currently zoned RS1 and, as Veronica stated, is within the Lehigh Acres community plan area. Properties to the northeast, southeast, and east of the subject property are zoned RS1, while properties to the northwest across Jaguar Boulevard are zoned RM2. To the west of the subject property lies two-family conservation district, TFC2, and a commercial C1 zoning district. Those are located across State Road 82. The applicant held a public information meeting pursuant to the requirements of LDC section 33-1401 for the request and provided staff with minutes from the meeting. The meeting was held at the Lehigh Acres Architectural Planning and Zoning Review Board meeting on December 14th, 2023. Covering the rezone criteria from LDC section 34-145D4A. The following slides will demonstrate how the applicant has met the listed criteria for the hearing examiner to approve the request. As previously mentioned, the parcel is located in the urban community future land use category described by policy 1.1.4 of the LEA plan, as characterized by a mixture of relatively intense commercial and residential uses. The purpose and intent of the CN3 district was to designate suitable intersection locations for a broad range of small-scale retail, office, and personal service facilities adjacent to and within future residential neighborhoods without the need to obtain a CPD. CN3 uses are compatible with the goals of the urban community, making the request compatible with the surrounding residential and commercial properties. The applicant has acknowledged that any development would require compliance with the urban community future land use category and development regulations contained in the LDC. Objective 2.1 of the LEA plan promotes contiguous and compact growth to contain urban sprawl. Rezoning the subject property to CN3 provides consistency with existing commercial properties along State Road 82 and provides additional opportunity for commercial development that will serve the surrounding neighborhood. Objective 2.2 and policy 2.2.1 discuss the new growth in future urban areas where adequate public facilities exist. The property is located along the four-laned arterial roadway of State Road 82 and within an area where fire, EMS, police, public parks, and transportation are established. The applicant has provided a letter of availability from the FGUA stating the nearest water main for potable water and sanitary sewer infrastructure is approximately 1.75 miles from the project site. The applicant has acknowledged that the new commercial development will not exceed 30,000 square feet of gross leasable floor area and will not generate more than 5,000 gallons of effluent per day, fulfilling the requirements of standards 4.1.1 and 4.1.2. Policy 5.1.5 states that development must protect existing and future residential areas from any encroachment of uses that are potentially destructive to the character and integrity of the residential environment. The subject property abuts a residential neighborhood to the east and northeast, with RM2 districts along State Road 82 to the north and south. The urban community future land use category encourages residential and commercial districts, and the request is compatible with the proposed zoning and existing future land use. The applicant notes that the allowable uses within the CN3 zoning districts would not introduce potentially destructive development to the character or integrity of the residential environment, and indicated Chapter 33 of the Land Development Code provides requirements for enhanced landscape buffers between commercial and residential uses in the Lehigh Acres community. Goal 6 for commercial land uses of the LEED plan promotes permitting the orderly and well-planned commercial development at appropriate locations within the county. The subject property is within the Mirror Lakes platted subdivision and is surrounded by residential and commercial uses along State Road 82, making the rezone request compatible with the adjacent existing and planned uses established by Policy 6.1.4. The proposed rezone prevents commercial development from locating in such a way as to open new areas to premature, scattered, or strip development as established in Policy 6.1.7. Covering Goal 25 for the Lehigh Acres Community Plan, as previously discussed, the subject property resides in the urban community future land use category, which encourages a mixture of intense commercial development and residential uses. And the CN3 zoning district allows for a variety of commercial uses, for example, administrative offices, banks, business services, contractors, builders, Group 1, et cetera, that are compatible with the Goal 25 of LEED plan. The applicant has stated the driveway proposed to the development is anticipated to be provided by way of Conley Street, and the applicant will comply with the requirements of the LDC at time of DO, fulfilling Policy 25.8.1. The subject property is 0.34 acres, is not located in a flowway, and does not contain wetlands. At the time of local DO, the applicant has acknowledged the required paving, grading, and drainage will be designed consistent with the Land Development Code, LEED plan, and best management practices for a small project fulfilling Goal 60 and Goal 61. The proposed development will not require permitting through the South Florida Water Management District. Goal 158 of the economic element states Lee County will achieve and maintain a diversified and stable economy by providing positive business climate that assures maximum employment opportunities while maintaining high quality of life. The proposed real estate office allows for business expansion and employment opportunities to the Lehigh Acres community area while providing a service to the surrounding community. Meets this code and other applicable county regulations or qualifies for deviations. There are no variances or deviations being requested with this rezone. The applicant has acknowledged that at time of development, LDC and other applicable county requirements will be established. The subject property is located again within the urban community future land use category as established by LEED plan, which is characterized by a mixture of relatively intense commercial and residential uses. Residential and commercial uses are predominant in the urban community areas, and the proposed CN3 zoning would be compatible with the surrounding residential and commercial uses. CN3 uses are restricted to businesses that operate during normal business hours of 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. and minimize nighttime operations, and do not exceed 5,000 square feet of single-use building square footage. The subject property abuts a residential neighborhood to the northeast, with RM2 to the north and south, adjacent to State Road 82, further supporting the compatibility of the existing surrounding uses. As previously mentioned, the property is located along the state-maintained arterial roadway of State Road 82. The applicant has noted the proposed driveway to the development will be located on Conley Street, demonstrating sufficient access to support the proposed development intensity, and that the development will comply with the requirements of the LDC at time of DO. Applicant has acknowledged impacts to transportation facilities will be addressed by existing county regulations, and the required traffic impact statement will be provided and evaluated during time of local DO as well. As stated previously, the subject property is not located in a flowway and does not contain wetlands. Applicant has acknowledged at time of local DO the required paving, grading, and drainage will be designed consistent with the LDC, LEED plan, and BMP practices for a small project. County environmental staff provided a report analyzing the request and made the following findings as well. For protected species and indigenous habitat, environmental staff conducted a site inspection and did not observe protected habitats or protected species. The site does contain Melaleuca and slash pine, and the project will require a vegetation removal permit prior to the clearing of the property. Open space and landscaping. This is considered a small project per LDC section 10-1, and the applicant will be required to provide 20% open space per LDC section 10-415A, and is required to provide buffers per LDC section 10-416 and 33-1405. At time of DO, the applicant must comply with the LDC or seek a variance. The property is located within the urban community future land use category, which is characterized by a mixture of relatively intense commercial and residential uses. Residential development in these areas will be slightly lower density than any other future urban category, and the property is serviced by FGUA, the Lehigh Acres Fire, EMS Medic Station 105, and the Lee County Sheriff's Office East District. In conclusion, the requested rezone from RS1 to CN3 is consistent with the LEED plan and the LDC. The proposed rezoning provides consistency with allowable commercial development within the urban community future land use category as established by LEED plan, while providing for compatibility with surrounding residential uses. Staff has concluded that the rezone will not result in negative impacts to urban services, infrastructure, or surrounding property. The subject property is sufficiently served by urban services, and the request will not impact any wetland preserves or flood hazard areas, or adversely affect environmentally critical or sensitive areas and natural resources. Therefore, staff does recommend approval of the applicant's request. Do you have any further questions?
I don't have any questions. Thank you very much for a very detailed staff report and attachments and presentation. I feel well prepared to render a decision. I've already conducted my site visit, so I don't feel like I need to go back based on what I've heard. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you.